Hello everyone. Today we are going to do this RPA challenge using Microsoft Power Automate. This RPA challenge, what is challenging about this specific challenge is that notice we have phone number, company name, last name, first name, and once we enter some information and click submit, the whole structure will change, which makes it different UI and it makes it a little bit challenging to automate. So we have this Excel file, RPA challenge.xlxx, and all the information is in this Excel file. First name, last name, company name, role in the company, address, email, and phone number. So what we need to do is go through each row and update the values of each text box. First thing first, let's open Power Automate Desktop. And we can close this out. And let's create a new flow. Let's just call that our RPA challenge. Personally, I like to just copy paste everything. It's just best practice in terms of no spelling issue and anything like that. Because if you make a mistake in variable name or something that makes a big difference, and you're gonna be chasing that error for quite some time. So always best practice, just copy paste everything. All right, let's design the overview of how we're gonna automate this challenge, where we have to open the browser and download the file. Once we download the file, we read the file and we click start. Now we have round one. We type some information in and we click submit, type some information in, click submit. So notice the rounds are changing. So if we go all the way to the end, after 10 rounds, it's going to tell us, hey, your score rate is 0 out of 70. Since we didn't enter anything, actual values, that's why we get 0. In Power Automate Desktop, let's just create some subflows for design purposes. Let's just call the first one, no, let's just say kill processes. Save. All right, let's do subflow. So first thing we want to do is terminate Excel and Chrome browser. We don't want any other files to be opened up to minimize any of the interference. And next thing we want to do is we need to initialize application. So if we need to initialize the Chrome, navigate to where we need to, start the process. Basically, that's what we're gonna do. Let's just do that. Init application. Now we kill the process, we initialize application. Next step would be extract data. Let's just do extract data. Let's go to main, another subflow, extract data. So we kill the process, initialize the application, and extract the Excel file and all that data. Once we have all the data, we need to dispatch. Let's put a dispatcher. All right. So what this one will do is that we dispatch to the queue item. So for each row in Excel, let's just review that. Okay. For each row in Excel, we want to have that. Let's go to Chrome make that Power Automate work queue items, and let's just create a new queue items. RPA challenge. See, I already made a spelling mistake. Perfect. All right, RPA challenge. We can leave all the settings as default. No need to do like JSON or XSD. Um, let's just leave it as it is. So, reason why we're using queue items in this small project, it's just generally better practice to use queue items in terms of scaling. Let's imagine that you only have right now 11 rows, right? The bot can go only maybe processes like 30 seconds per row, or maybe even less. It could be a quicker, we don't know yet. What if we have 10,000 rows and we need to get it done faster? Using queue item help us to have a multiple runs at the same time. So if the first bot is working on the first row of the transaction, it's gonna mark in a queue item, be like, "Hey, I'm working this one." And as soon as the second bot try to work another queue item, it knows that the first row has been worked by the other one. It's gonna automatically pick up this one, the second row. When the first one finished, and it's just gonna pick up the third one because they know the queue item is being worked. Basically, it's just best practice to uh, just use queues generally speaking. For practice, you can also use loops, but we're gonna do queue items for learning purposes as well. So we get the kill process, initialize application, we go into Chrome and extract the data, we extract Excel, and we upload everything to the queue item. Now, once we have everything in the queue item, uh, we want to process data, right? So let's just do process data. Main. Alright, so whenever we hit the run, it only executes main. If you haven't called the subflow in the main or within the subflow itself, it will not run basically. Alright, now that we have all the high level designs such as kill process, init application, extract data, dispatcher, and process data, let's go build out the inner components. Let's start with kill process. Let's look for action called terminate. Now, let's clear everything first and terminate. Drag and drop. Process name. Yeah, we'll go with the process name. Let's just do Chrome. And we also want to terminate Excel. Click Save. Now let's just open a Chrome and yeah, let's just download quick Excel, download Excel file. Just open Excel as well. So now that we have Chrome open and Excel open, we want to test this component to make sure it actually works properly. Uh, the way to do it with, if you hit the run button, it's going to run everything, but we only want to test things. So go to the first item, right click, run from here. We'll execute only you run from here. So it terminated both Excel and the Chrome. So we are good to go. Let's just save the work for now. Alright, we saved it. Now we can kill process is done. Now let's go to init application. Init application would be, let's just use Chrome, launch a new Chrome, drag and drop. We want to launch a new instance for this purpose, and Let's copy paste the URL, RPA challenge, it's this one, Control C, right, perfect. Window state, let's maximize it. It's always better to have a maximum window where we can see everything. Let's check out some of the advanced properties. Clear cache, you can leave it unchecked. For our automation, it makes no difference. But let's just clear cache and cookies. Wait for page to load. Yep, we want to wait at least 60 seconds. 30 seconds is sufficient enough. This page loads up relatively quick, and let's do the timeout 30 seconds as well. If pop-up appears, let's just close it. Whenever we um, kill Chrome, it have this pop-up. So let's just make it close. We can leave picture-in-picture default. Let's name the browser instance more easier to identify. RPA browser. Yeah, let's just leave it as RPA browser. All right, now we launch the Chrome. Our next step would be for any application, that's all we want to do. Let's launch the Chrome. Next one is extract data. We'll go to extract data. Now, what we need is click. There is this thing called click download link on a web page. It currently doesn't support Edge or Chrome. It supports Internet Explorer and automation browser. Personally, I don't recommend neither of those browsers, are as they can be buggy sometimes. So we'll just use a regular click and stick with the Chrome. But you're more than welcome to try it out. Alright, let's click download Excel. So the way selector works is that it lets you highlight different elements, and you just highlight download Excel and hold the control key and left click will grab the selector. We don't have to change any of the advanced settings. We'll just leave the default stuff and save it. Now this should download the file. Now let's go to selectors panel and let's just rename this to yeah, actually I like the name download Excel. Straightforward. Let's just put the L capital and let's click edit to edit the selector. Now we have a few options here. Yeah, let's just uncheck this. We don't really need that. We don't really need the class and equals to download Excel. We can keep the name. It can identify it. And for the text, uh, yeah, let's just put the name as well. Let's click test to make sure it can actually highlight the component without an issue, which it does. Perfect. We'll click save. So we're clicking the download Excel text. It starts the download. And now what we want to do is read the file. What if we had other files? Let's say if I want to download a whole bunch of them, and automation had multiple downloads, but we want to stick with the last download. We could do something like this. File. Uh, every time I want to see what Power Automate has, I just like to put the keyword, since we're working with a file, you can just type file, it brings up all the available file related components. And here we have move files, copy files, get files in the folder. So let's just get all the files in the folder. Um, we want to get the files in a download folder. What we want, control copy. Copy the downloads. Place the desktop with download. Okay. For files, we want XLSX only. No. I'm just gonna create some random files for testing purposes. Make sure it doesn't grab those, only Excel files. You can even take this to the next step. Now let's try to actually do that. Let's just copy. We know the file name is challenge, so you can filter by that. Alright, include subfolders. Nope, we don't really need that. Sort by creation time. Descending, ascending. Okay, we'll leave it like that for now. Then sort by. No, we only need creation time. That should be sufficient enough. Let's just click save, and if I want to test run this only, I can just right click on it and click run from here, and it will execute it. Now that we execute it and we can see the files variable, view content. Now we can check out everything in here. So it's ordering from the older files to the newer ones. Let's switch it to make it other way around, where we get the latest files at the very top. Descending. Okay, perfect. Click save. Now let's test it. Run from here. Alright, perfect. Now we get the latest version up top. It's exactly what we want. Now we have get files. And next thing would be first, just it's always best practice to name the variable, so that's just easier to work with. Now we know the very top one is what we need. Let's just set your downloaded file. If you click this X icon, it gives you all the variables that you have, and we have a list of files in downloads folder. You can click count if you need the count, but for now we just need the list. And if I want to get the first item, I can do open bracket 0 close bracket. It's gonna get the first item. Click save. Now we have a download file path. This one says we extract the data. We download it, and we also need to read Excel as well. So let's just type Excel. It gives us all the Excel components. Launch Excel and open a following document. Yep. And the path would be our download file. So whatever we downloaded, make the instance visible. You can make it not visible, but let's just do it visible for demo purposes. Okay. We can leave all those blank because it's not password protected or any of that is relevant. Yeah, we're not making any change to Excel. Just put a read only Excel instance. We're only going to be using one Excel instance, so you can leave it as it is, but let's just get in the habit of naming things to make it so that it would be easier. Let's just put input Excel instance. That should be good enough. Click save. Now we need to read the data. So input Excel instance, the value of single cell. We want to get all available values from a worksheet. Let's click advanced. Just make this a little bit bigger. Get contents as a text. Yep, I want it as a text. First line contains the column names. That is true. Excel data. Okay, let's call this DT input data. Click save. Now we read the data. What we want to do is look for Excel close instance. Just close the instance. Yeah, we don't have to save the documents. Do not save. So we have that there. Now let's just test this component to make sure it works. Um, let's just run it from here, get all the files. It should get the latest version. All right, so we tested the Excel extract data components, and these are the values for each variable. It looks like it's showing that we have a 999 rows, which we know it's not true. We only have like 10 or 11 rows. As we can see, those rows are blank. So what we want to do is we want to clear out all the blank rows. Let's just do that. Uh, we can use a .NET action. .NET. If you like to use C Sharp, if you're more comfortable with C Sharp, you can do so. If you're more comfortable with VB.NET, so you can choose whichever you prefer. For this demo, we'll go with VB.NET. And here I have some DLLs. I'll make sure to share all of that with you guys. This also can be found in, here I'll show, Windows, if you go local disk, program files, and reference assembly, Microsoft Framework v3.5, all those system.data, set extension, all of them one with the data. I just went and copied it directly from here. Mainly we only need link and some data manipulation. We probably don't need all of those data right now, but I go ahead and paste it in there for my future reference. So this is where I saved it. So I copy all that system.data link, entity, and everything that start with system.data. And RPA challenge, I created a reference folder, and I only have these DLLs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy the path and paste it to reference to be loaded. Also here I have the VB code that I wrote and tested it. It worked just fine. Basically, this will eliminate all those blank rows. I will do a separate tutorial going over some .NET itself. I think this one requires more detail, like going over the code, how it works. I'll make a separate one for this. But for now, all we need to know is that this code will remove the blank rows. Alright, let's do input data, IODT. So we go to edit. This is where we put our input output variables. And when you click plus, and we can do IODT input data. This is data table type. Direction is in out. And we want to connect this to DT input data table variable. There's that. We click done and we click save. All right. So let's test this to see if we still get 999 rows. We can run from here. All right, perfect. It only shows 10 rows. Let's just open it up, make sure we have everything we need. Yep, perfect, looks good. Now we filter the data table. Now we have we have the file, we downloaded, and we extracted the data, and we also filtered. Um, this .NET itself doesn't look like a self-explanatory, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a comment in here. So the build.NET action will remove blank rows. So whenever I come back like later down the line, I will remember, hey, this is what's doing. I don't have to open it. So it just makes our life easier. All right, so we kill the process. We kill Chrome, Excel. If it opened, we initialize the application. We extract the data. Now it's time for us to fill in the dispatch report. So with the dispatcher, we're going to work with the queue items. Make that power automate. We have created the queue name. Now we need to upload a queue item in a format that's easier for us to work with. So the RPA challenge is the queue name. Let's just look for a queue action. Okay, add work queue item. Right here, we have this drop down. We can just choose RPA challenge. Status queue looks good. Normal. Yep. For now, we'll just put a normal. Name. We don't really have to. I mean, yeah. For our case, we don't really need it. Inputs. We're gonna format the data in a slightly different manner. It would be something like this. I have this on a notepad. Control copy. Right. Let me go over. Okay, it looks like I pasted it twice. Let's open the file for easier compare and contrasts. Okay, perfect. Let's put this up here. Let's just place it here. Okay, perfect. All right, here we have a first name. In here, first name, I have the first name in here. So we format it in JSON. So for each row, okay, we have a current row first name. Let's just save it for now. I forgot to add the loop. Okay. This one would be DT inputs. That's the data table that we have to loop through. And for each row, we want to add that to queue item. Let's just name this current row. All right, for each current row in the input data table, add the queue item. The queue item we want to add is in this syntax. In the JSON, we have this dictionary pair. The key is the column name. The value is the current row of first name. So it would be like a first name. That's the key. The value would be, for example, John. The same thing for a last name would be Smith, and so on. The phone number, for example, would be, we are still on the first row, so it would be this one, 407 ending with 98. Right. Expires, if you want, you can put the expiration date, but for this purpose, we don't have to put any expiration date. Has a unique ID or reference. Sometimes it's if you want to have each row to be a unique, and you can make this a unique ID reference, or if you want to add processing nodes, you can also do that as well. For our purposes, we only need the value. Variable, yeah, we don't have to produce this variable, not necessary for our case. Let's just save this. Let's just save our work as well. Let's actually test run and upload everything to queue so we get to see some queues stacked up here. Right now we have nothing. So it's saved. If I just hit the run button, I could be in here too, it doesn't matter. It always executes the main. So here I'll show you. Run, and it just executes the main. Alright, it looks like it's working properly so far. It downloaded the file. Wonder what else it's doing. Let me see. Okay, so it's adding the queue items for each row. Yeah, we only have 10 rows. If you left at 999 rows, we would be sitting here for quite some time. Okay. Now let's check out our, oh yeah, I forgot. We have a kill Chrome in place, so let's just close that. You have to go to make.powerautomate.com, then go to queue once it loads up. Work queues, RPA challenge. Now we have all those 10 queue that we have. Here you can see we have this JSON dictionary that's ready to be processed by the performer. Alright, so now that we have all the data we need as a dictionary JSON, now it's time for us to actually process the data. So we initialize, we get the data, we filter it out, we upload it to queue item, we get dispatcher, now we process the data. The way we would do it is, first we have to go to we already here in RPA challenge, because we already at this point we have downloaded the Excel file. Now we need to click the start button, which changes to round 1, and start entering the values for each text box, and click submit. And rounds are changing. Once we reach to round, I think we have 10 rows, so 10 rounds, yep, we'll get this output like a success saying, hey, your success rate is right now it's 0%, and we'll just output it to the message box. Let's click reset. So we are looking for a click. Notice we got two clicks here. One click UI element in a window. The second one says click link on the web page. Even though we are clicking the UI element here, because it's website, it's considered a link. So everything the website related, the browser related, will be under browser section. This one is for if you were to open like a desktop application, like a folder, file explorer, or if you're opening up like SAP, anything that's on your desktop, then you use this UI element in a window. Anything that's browser, we'll use this. So first thing first, let's use RPA browser. That looks good. UI element, let's just add it. We will click. Uh, if you see it's highlighting whatever I want to click. If you bring it over to start and hold Control key and click the start, and it will left click and it will grab the selector. Let's just save it. And this is the selector panel. We can check. Okay, so far we had download Excel. Yeah, I'm not liking this download Excel button. We might have some issue down the line. I need to fix that because download Excel is also a link as well. We'll come back to it. But for now, let's go to the start. I'm just gonna get rid of anything that doesn't necessarily have any attribute selected by default. So this one doesn't have it, this one doesn't have it, this one probably doesn't have it either, and doesn't have it. You just skip it. Alright, so this one's saying text start. Yeah, we can, I think that's reliable enough. We can just check. RPA challenge, okay. Okay, so just grabbing that one, correct, looks good, and we'll save it. Now we click the start. Once we click start, now we wanna start typing in the text box values, right? The way to do it would be first we need to get the queue item, process or queue item. Yep. All right, we get the RPA challenge work queue item. Yeah, well, we want this variable, and what we want to do is we need to convert the JSON into a custom object. JSON would be work queue item. Work queue item's value. So work queue item dot value. JSON is a custom object. Let's just rename this. Let's just see custom object underscore. Custom object doesn't look good. I like to name it JSON because it's a JSON format. JSON work queue item. Save. Now we have the values. Now we need to start typing into the text box. The way we want to do is let's just create another subflow. Let's just call this data entry. Yeah, data entry. Let's save this. This one will have all the type in actions like type into address, type into first name, type in all the type in stuff. Let's go in here. Let's look for populate text field on a web page. RPA looking good. We need to add a UI element. Here, let's just go with the first name. Hold the control and click the first name. First name, let's just hard coded John for now. Alright, it doesn't look too good to me. Like let's just rename this first. Input text, first name. Right, let me go into that selector. Oh, it already deselected everything except the last one. ID, okay. ID is, let me see if this actually works if I click. Let's just test it as it is. Alright, so it works fine right now, but as we know, when we click submit, it changes. Let's see if it works then as well. Nope, it did not work. So let's find out to see if there's anything useful in here. Right off the bat, I don't see any attributes that we can grab it. Okay, so we can also do this. Let's just focus on first name. If you right click on it and click inspect, you're gonna get the underlying code. You can copy element, that's fine. Alright, now let's open a notepad. So we got the elements, let's just paste it in here. I want to see a pattern here, right? If I go to the next one, let me highlight, we were working with the first name. Just click that, I want to copy this, copy elements. Alright, I'm gonna click submit one more time. I think 3 is good enough. Usually 2 is enough, but I just like to have extra one just in case. Um, copy elements, paste this in a notepad as well. Okay, so we have all these attributes. So inputs, C equals blank. I'm not a big fan of using blank values. We have this one, label first name, label first name, label first name, consistent. I like this one so far. And ID would be ideal to use, but it looks like it is changing every time we have new ID. So we can't use that. Name is changing, we can't use that as well. Class, it looked like somewhat of a similar, but there's some difference as well. Still, I wouldn't recommend using the class. The name would be like, if you can't find the name, is the best way to go. ID usually make things go faster. So let's just use this label first name. Copy this, and if we go into Power Automate selector, first name, and if you see this text editor, you can just click this and it goes to the text editor. Uh, all we need to do is replace this ID equals the value with our own ID key pair value. And let's test this to see if it actually works. New challenge, okay. Perfect. Let me click, let me test on a different page to make sure. Test. Alright, seems to be working. Let me just do one more time. Third time is the charm. Do that. Perfect. It looks like we found the selector that works consistently across the board. So you can pause this and do that for every single text box. You just have to go in here and do inspect, get the elements, copy elements, and paste it. I mean, since we already found it, you don't have to do 3 times. We already know this works across the board, so we can just use this for every single selector. You can pause the video here and just complete the rest of the project, and you can come back here and we'll have it the complete version in a second in here as well. All right. So earlier I actually had this one coded to John, but we want to have a dynamic value. We want to use the JSON. The key would be the first name, so it gets the first name for the text box first name. The same goes for last name. So we have a last name, populate text box. It's gonna grab the JSON work queue item, open brackets, open brackets, single quotation, last name. Let me put the bracket back. Last name, single quotation, and close bracket. And everything should be in the percentage sign. All right, so this should enter every single text box. So now we have everything in there. What we want to do is we want to click the submit button. Let's just go to rpachallenge.com. We need to click the submit button. Um, so let's look for click. Click link on the web page. Looks good. RPA browser. Um, let's add a UI element and hold control. Click submit. Yep, looks good to me. Let's go into selector and let's get this submit button. Just double check, make sure it is working properly. Value type submit. Okay, yep, that should be good enough. Test. Let's just make sure you can click the submit one more time just to be sure. Just click. Perfect, looks good to me. Let's just save it. So for each queue item, it converts the work queue item that value to JSON custom object so we can work with different objects. Then we enter the data. Once we fully enter everything, then we click submit. Let's just rename this to submit button. All right, perfect. See, we should always name them instantly without doing anything because I have noticed that sometimes when you name them a little bit later, it doesn't reflect it in here. You see it says submit to, but we have it updated to submit button. Uh, that's Power Automate bug. Hopefully they get that fixed at some point. No big deal, but let's just keep going. So we have a process queue. Click submit. Data entry looks good, and let's go to main. So let me delete this too. Okay, so we process the data. Once you process the data, uh, let's say we click submit and everything looks good. We wanna have we wanna capture this value from here at the end. Oh, forgot to click start. We need to click start first. Round one. Congratulations, your success rate is 0%. That's fine. We just want that message. Extract. Extract data from window. Again, it's under UI. We don't want that. We want one under browser automation. Extract data from web page. Get details of an element. So we just need that element only. Let's just click control. Get that text. Let's just name this str message, success message. And I want to show that in a display message box. Yeah, that's fine. We don't need the title for this one. Keep message box always on top. Yep, we don't really need that variable. Save. Okay, So let's go back to the selector of um, this text. Your success rate is 0%. Let's just get rid of the things that we don't need. Uh, all right, here we have some values could change, so we want to make sure it can handle it. The way to do it would be you can use a regular expression to match, like, hey, look for your success rate is wild card, another wild card here. You can put a wild card here. But for this demo purposes, I'll just clear the whole thing out. Your success rate is, I'll do contains. So if it contains your success rate is, that's good enough for our purposes. Obviously, regex would be more robust way of doing it. Let's just click save for now. Alright, now that we have everything we need, let's perform full tests, like end-to-end tests, to make sure it works properly. Before we do anything, it's always best practice to just simply clear out all these unnecessary files. Yeah, let me just get rid of that. We don't need this. I just leave these as an extra, so the bot knows to pick up only Excel and specific Excel, not just some random Excel too. Let's just see if it, yeah, should only pick up the specific Excel. Alright, before we hit the play button, we want to go and clear out the queue items, because if we have a more than 10 queue items, it just kind of thinks it needs to process everything before it clicks it, before it gets the success rate, and we don't want that. We want to have a fresh start. So you go to see all and select everything, just clear the whole thing out. Alright, now we got a fresh start. We can close it, and let's hit the run button and see the bot actually work. At this stage, I would highly recommend don't move your mouse or the keyboard. Uh, Sometimes it could interfere with the bot working. Not always, but sometimes it does. All right, I think it's just reading the Excel and maybe start uploading it to the queue item. Hmm. Let's see what happened here. Something did go wrong. Okay, set variable files 0. It doesn't exist. Files and download. Okay, something went wrong. We were not able to see any files at all. Get files in a folder. Okay, click the download. Let's put a delay here. Put a delay. Wait, I'm just gonna put 5 seconds. I think that should be sufficient. Normally, what I would recommend is get files in a folder. Um, Specifically, look for if file exists. If see, yep, right there. I would recommend using this action instead of 5 seconds, but for our purposes, let's just use 5 seconds and just retest and see if it works this time. I think it is working because it opened the Excel, and let's see how it goes. Perfect. We went to round one. Now we just want to keep an eye out, make sure the correct values going into the correct box. I mean, we don't necessarily have to open Excel and cross-reference, because at the end it will tell us, hey, this is 100% accurate or 50% accurate. Uh, just high level, we just want to keep an eye out, make sure it's not doing something completely unexpected or something weird. All right, perfect. Looks like we got a perfect score. Everything looks good. Um, yeah, thanks for watching, and that was the end of RPA challenge. If anyone has a questions, please leave it in comments. I'll do my best to try to answer all of them. Have a nice day. Thank you.